Hi there, welcome back. You're watching live on Revelation TV. This is the half an hour where we dedicate to your emails and your text messages. So please feel encouraged. We have the iPad here waiting to receive all your questions that you might have for Felicity, either on today's subject that we've discussed on cancer or any other questions. So Felicity, if we've just got some viewers that have just tuned in and they've missed the last hour, first of all, where have you been? Joking. Just summarise what we've covered in the last hour, please.
Well, we covered the fact that there is this integrative health movement now towards curing and preventing disease, of course, with the orthodox and natural things all put together and run by the top doctors in the world. So it's very exciting. I'm off to San Diego to a conference in April, the end of April, and it's called the Cure to Cancer Conference, and it's run by Integrative Health. So very exciting. There's 400 of the top delegates there, and I shall be introducing Dr. Francisco Contreras, who actually directed my treatment when I was cured from pancreatic cancer in 2003.
Well, within this conference that you're going to be attending, are they going to be discussing similar items that we've discussed on today's show?
Yes, it will all be about cancer, of course, and you know, the great thing is the education about cancer, the way that we can prevent it. It's really being caused, this huge epidemic is being caused by our lifestyle, by what we're eating, drinking, breathing and thinking.
And it's also lifestyle and the food that we're eating and not eat, and what we shouldn't be eating and what we should be eating as well.
Absolutely, yes, because when we get back to God's diet in Genesis 1:29 and 30, which is what I learned to do, we come back to the real food, the fresh fruit, vegetables, seeds, nuts, and the green plant, the wheatgrass, the barley grass, the things that are really good for us, and they're nature's own things, grown in hopefully good soil, and obviously avoiding genetically modified foods and the chemicals and preservatives that are now being used in all the processed food.
So we've talked about how food can help us prevent any disease or illness such as cancer. I just want you to just go through something that I think maybe some of our viewers are going through, and that could be depression, for example.
Absolutely.
How much does food influence the way that our minds are?
Oh, it's huge, absolutely huge. When we're eating dead meat, dead animals, we're not getting the living enzymes that we get from fruit and vegetables, which is why God says in Genesis 1:29 and 30 that we should be not, he's already created the animals, but he doesn't say go and kill the animals and eat them. He says eat the seeds, the fruit, the vegetables, and the green plant. We know now that broccoli actually has all these amazing qualities, as does cabbage and cauliflower, which they're called the brassica family, and they actually do prevent us getting cancer. And if we are unfortunate enough to have developed cancerous cells, these things will help to build the immune system. It's only our immune system that will get us well.
Okay, let's go through some of the emails that we received in today's show, okay? Hi Felicity, great show. I'm a man of 53 years of age, really fit. I eat 6 pieces of fruit every day for years, but have developed skin condition on my face called rosacea.
Rosacea.
Rosacea,
Okay.
excuse me.
Right.
I've tried everything to get rid of it, but can't. Can you suggest anything?
I wonder if he's still having dairy. That's the first thing that I would suggest. It's an allergy to something. So it's either dairy, the cheese, you know, dairy as the milk and the cheese and everything that's derived from the moo cow. So it's either that, or you are actually allergic to a chemical that you're putting on your face, because it's his face that's affected, isn't it?
Yes.
So anyway, email me and we'll go into it in deeper.
Just to go further into detail about the dairy, some of our viewers maybe use it or love the milk and cheeses and everything. What is the alternative?
Oh yes, people are horrified when they discover that dairy is wrong, because we've been taught drink a pint of milk a day, you know, and be big and strong and healthy. Mother's milk is the perfect milk for babies, And then we need to wean off milk. There's no other animal in nature that suckles another animal. Milk actually is quite acidic in the body, and the body will then have to draw calcium from the bones to actually restore the balance. So we need to come off the milk to make a delicious milk. You just put a banana in a blender with some water and whiz it up. There's almond milk as well, there's oat milk, there's all kinds of different milks. The soy milk might be genetically modified now, so you have to be careful with that.
Okay. Hi, dear Felicity and Cyrus. My husband still likes potatoes. What about conventional oven or boiling your potatoes?
Yeah, you can boil them. I mean, the thing about I love potatoes. The thing is that they do turn to glucose in the body, which of course is sugar. That gives you energy, but if you have too much of it, it can feed cancer cells. But you know, we have to make sure that people don't get too thin when they're fighting cancer. So I say a baked potato in its jacket is not going to do you much harm. Brown rice is not going to do you much harm. I know that some people have to be really radical, like we were at Hippocrates Health Institute, where people only have the green juices and the salads. Literally, that's all they have all the weeks they're there. There's no other food. So they certainly wouldn't be having baked potatoes there. But you know, when we're living in the ordinary world and we're trying to struggle with our health, then I think the main thing is to keep off the animal protein. For obvious reasons, the animal is dead, the animal has been affected with a lot of antibiotics, hormones and steroids during its lifetime, and we are better to come off animal protein.
And we get our energy from living foods, and we obviously don't get energy from dead meat, do we?
Absolutely. You know, the best energy is from sprouts. That's from the buckwheat sprouts, sunflower, the pea green sprouts that you can just grow. I've got my little herb garden now up in my eagle's nest up there in the mountains, and I'm starting to grow all these lovely things myself, and so there's no chemicals that affect them. And that is where you get your green leafy vegetables, will give you the most nutrition and the best protein.
Okay, dear Felicity and Cy, regarding supplements that are on offer to us, which Christian supplement company would you recommend?
Well, of course, Philip Day appears on Revelation TV. I entirely trust Philip. It's largely through Philip's book, Cancer, Why We're Still Dying to Know the Truth, that helped me get well 11 years ago. I had the apricot kernels. I had them in an intravenous form, which I got from Mexico, from Dr. Contreras. But Philip's book, Cancer, Why We're Still Dying to Know the Truth, is the most wonderful book. Another Christian called Ty Bollinger has written a book called Cancer, Step Outside the Box. So there are two brilliant titles for you, and really when you've read those two books, you will have such a good understanding of what cancer really is, how we can avoid it, and if we're unfortunate enough to suffer from it, how we can get ourselves well.
Okay, we have an SMS here. Please tell me what food and vitamins are best for low thyroid. I take 50 mcg of levothyroxine daily.
Okay. Well, there is a natural one called T3, which might be something for them to research. Basically, you come back onto the broccoli and all the good things that we've been talking about for cancer, because it's all about building the immune system. So you'll find it whether you're fighting arthritis or diabetes or thyroid problems or cancer. Again, we come back to God's diet. Isn't it amazing that as Christians we think we know our Bible, and so many people have completely forgotten to eat the diet that God originally intended for us, the creation diet, before animals were killed.
Elaine is saying, hi Felicity, how can you help someone with pulmonary fibrosis on their lungs?
Right, well, I have COPD because for many years, I was on the MAD diet, the meat and dairy diet, and so being a little Jersey girl, of course, I was filled with the Jersey milk. And so I always had what they call a weak chest and lots of bronchitis. I was the little girl who always had the colds. So then I developed what they call emphysema or COPD. And when you've got these lesions in the lungs. There's one thing that can get them well, and that's the wheatgrass. Amazingly, when you drink the wheatgrass. Another thing I do is use a nebulizer, and I put colloidal silver into the nebulizer and breathe that into the lungs, which is really good. Another thing is the salt pipe. It's a ceramic inhaler, looks a bit like a Ventolin inhaler, but it has the good mountain salt, like Himalayan salt, and you breathe through the ventilator, so you're breathing air over the salt, and you're actually getting that pure salt into the lungs, which again will help tremendously.
Okay. Amy has sent us an email. Hi, Si and Felicity. You mentioned vaccines earlier on in the show. I had 2 of 3 HPV vaccinations when I was 18, and about 5 years ago I didn't have the 3rd due to researching the side effects. Will the damaging vaccine ingredients stay in my system for life, or will the body be clear for it by now?
Depends how much you detox. And so you want to detox with the colonics, you want to detox with your diet now, drinking a lot of water, and you will eventually get rid of the heavy metals. If you go on the distilled water for maybe a year or 2, you will actually take out, it only leaches out the heavy metals, it doesn't leach out the natural minerals in the body, and the natural minerals that we should be taking every day in our green juices. That's where we're getting the alkalizing minerals into our body from the green juices. That's why the green juices are so important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hi Felicity, I love your program. I was wondering, is eating organic meat okay?
Well, you see, some people think you can. Having had pancreatic cancer, I'm not going to risk it. But Jordan Rubin has written a book on the Maker's Diet. I think there are some people who do need to have some meat. So if you do, then for goodness sake, have the organic meat, which would be very much better. Yes.
Okay. Andrea is asking, hi Felicity, how do I make gazpacho? I tried to make it, but it tasted awful.
Well, then buy my little recipe book, which you can download off my website, felicitycorbin-wheeler.org, and I've written several little e-books. I mean, this is not a smart recipe book with gorgeous pictures. I'd love to do that one day, and maybe we can do that. But what I've written at the moment is a simple little recipe book with quite a few, well, hundreds of recipes in there, that are basically on the juices, on the fresh fruit and vegetables, and things like hummus, guacamole, gazpacho, all those natural things. And then people can have fun and experiment. But, you know, there was a sort of great urgency for people to give me some idea of what I'm going to eat. And I started this when people came on the courses, and they'd say, what am I going to eat when I go home next week? Mm-hmm. So this is just a little booklet, but it's all good stuff in there.
And to answer Andrea's question, how do you make gazpacho?
How do you make gazpacho? Well, you make it with all the delicious things that we get here in Spain. It is one of my favorite things. I have it nearly every day for lunch. Yeah. Onions, garlic, tomatoes, cucumbers. I put all kinds of lovely things in it, and a little bit of oil.
Fantastic, yeah. Excellent. What foods are good for someone suffering from lupus arthritis?
Well, I've had great results with lupus, and you know, lupus is one of those autoimmune diseases. It's really amazing how people struggle with that, and chemicals will not get you well. You have to detox radically. One of the greatest successes I had was with a Danish girl who's now living in New Zealand with her lovely husband, and they're actually growing wheatgrass down there. So again, it's a matter of just bringing up the immune system and overcoming or managing lupus. Yeah.
So we have a question here. Can you please repeat the name of the cancer cure? I missed it earlier.
The cancer cure?
Yes.
Did we talk about one particular cancer cure?
I think we mentioned a number of treatments, didn't we?
Well, the thing is to go onto the website of the Cure to Cancer conference, which is taking place in April, which I'm attending. go on to that, and that will lead you with links onto all the new ideas. This is a Dr. Lee Corneely, who we featured in the program, and so you can go onto her website. She's a very well-trained oncologist and has a great interest in natural health as well, so she puts it all together.
Andrea, I would also like to remind you that we have a catch-up service on Revelation TV. It's on our website. Go to www.revelationtv.com. You'll see the catch-up service for Get Well, Stay Well program. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see a link. If you copy that link, you can then paste that link and send it to any of your friends who can also watch and benefit from our programs from today. Okay. I'd like to know Felicity's view on aromatherapy. I trained as a therapist, but have been put off practicing as I've been told Christians shouldn't practice this therapy. You're an inspiration, and God bless.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I believe that God put these beautiful aromas in the world for us to enjoy. We know that lavender, for instance, is very healing. Eucalyptus is wonderful to breathe, to clear the lungs. Cinnamon, clove, thyme. There's all these wonderful herbs that God has put here for us. I think perhaps the problem is that Christians have heard that these things can be associated with different religion or mindset, which you don't want to get into, obviously, because we know that our life with Jesus is stronger than anything else. So I don't think there's anything wrong with using lavender to help you go to sleep at night. Aromatherapy is massaging those essential oils into the body. If you don't want anyone else to do it to you, then do it yourself. But use those beautiful oils, because I think God has created the flowers and the lovely essences for us, for our pleasure and for our health.
Absolutely right, yeah. Hi there, thank you so much for your program. God bless you both. Can a recovering cancer patient have green tea? And also, how much nuts can I have, as I like nuts?
Yes, of course you can have green tea. Green tea is very good for you. You can have all the other things we mentioned, the resveratrol, the grape diet, which I grew up in South Africa, and a lot of people were on the grape diet, and it's actually the grape seeds which have the hydrocyanic acid in them, so you can have things like that. By all means, yes, enjoy all these wonderful things. Have lots of curries, because the curcumin and the turmeric in the curries is actually classed as a chemotherapy. You know, has such strong anti-cancer properties. And what else did they ask? Or something else?
She liked nuts and...
Oh, nuts, yeah. Okay. Right. Well, of course, God has said that we should be having them. The sesame seeds, the apricot seeds, almonds are absolutely wonderful, and they're lovely to snack on. So, if you're going out and you're going to be working out at lunchtime, then I'll take a little box of nuts that I've actually probably soaked and dehydrated first, so it's got the aflatoxins taken off them, which is the indigestible part, and so I can just snack on those.
We have an email here from Anne. She seems to be coming to Spain on the 7th to the 14th of May and was wondering whether she can attend one of your courses. She has type 2 diabetes and would love to do your course.
Well, email me, Anne. I don't get back from America until I think the 3rd of May. So we're making the May course a week later, as you'll see on my website. And I have got people on that course, and we're delighted if you'd like to join us.
Okie dokie. Let me just go through. Please can I ask, the anti-cancer Gerson therapy uses many carrots and apple juices per day, but this trains the palate into sugar, also contradicts Hippocrates Institute to use green juices. What are Felicity's recommendations?
That's absolutely right. And I trained at Hippocrates in the absolutely radical way, which I think is wonderful. I followed the Gerson therapy. I have huge respect for Charlotte Gerson and Patrick Vickers, who's also doing there's many of these institutes doing the Gerson therapy, which of course include the colonics, which I think are vital, and the colonics are done at Hippocrates as well. So I have a detox kit which people can buy off my website. I think it's really important that we clean the colon. Regarding the rainbow juices, I know exactly what you say. There's the sugar in the carrot and the apple juice. Having said that, I actually got well with my husband making carrot and apple juice for me as well as the green juices. So I can only say from personal experience, from having been given 6 weeks to live with pancreatic cancer, I did actually get well on rainbow juices. I also loved the beetroot juice, the red juices, and I think God has provided the rainbow for us, and so we should take advantage of that, because each different fruit and vegetable has different chemical constituents in it, and I think we're probably meant to have variety, but it's really up to people to do their own research. I'm trained in all these different things.
And it's a wonderful thing as well to get your children involved as well into juicing.
Oh, absolutely. They love it. It's such huge fun, you know, to put a carrot down and see this gorgeous orange juice come out, which they can drink.
Fantastic. Lillian has sent us a couple of questions, so I'm just going to go through this one by one. Hi Felicity, should I stop giving milk to my baby girl? She's nearly 2.5, and I fed her until she was 1.5.
Right, so she's had lots of breast milk, and that's wonderful. We'll have built her up, so move her now onto other milks, not cow's milk, because so many people are intolerant to the lactose and the casein that's in the cow's milk. So why put her through that when it's not natural to go on to drinking cow's milk? But of course we were all taught that. I certainly had my children drinking lots of Jersey milk and thought what a healthy thing it was. So we live and learn.
She was also asking, what is the best dinner to give a 2-year-old?
Well, the broccoli is wonderful. There's a picture on my website of, I think my Facebook page, of my little grandson eating his broccoli. I mean, he just loves the broccoli, and you can put herbs and do lovely things with it, and that's good for them.
She's finally asking, can you make green juices on a blender?
Well, you can blend. You'll make a green blend. You won't make a green juice, because the juice is actually when you use the auger to squeeze the juice out and separate from the pulp. If you're using a NutriBullet, as you know, it doesn't spew out juice one side and the pulp the other side, so it's just blended literally with centrifugal force. Tastes nice, it's fine, it's just got more bits in it, really.
Okay, have a text message here. Hi, Si and Felicity. Thank you for helping us with your very informative programs. My brother is not a believer and is suffering from anxiety. The doctor has prescribed antidepressants. He doesn't want to take them, but is desperate. Please, can you help?
Well, how lovely that he's got a Christian brother who can pray for him and guide him along the way. I think if he changes his diet for a start, gets onto the light foods and reads the Bible, start with the Psalms, words of Jesus, let's get really simple, and I think that he will pick up. He's got a loving brother to help him, which is a huge help. If you've got to address the reason why he is depressed in the first. I mean, maybe he's lost his job, maybe he's got a troubled relationship, and so really, if people are depressed, they need someone to talk to share it with, and bring it before the Lord and see what you can do about it.
Sadly, Felicity, we're coming towards the end of today's programme, but thank you so much for joining us today. Are there any final words? Well,
the Lord always has the answer to these things. He's told us what to eat. We've made ourselves really ill by going our own way, like Frank Sinatra said, do it my way, with absolutely disastrous consequences. So come back to the word of the Lord and watch us again next week on Revelation TV.
Thanks, Felicity. Take care. Thank you also to our viewers for joining us today. We've covered a number of subjects. So remember, we're on a catch-up service on our website. It's revelationtv.com. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/revelationtv. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/revelationtv. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/RTV Europe. So thank you very much for joining us today. Remember, if we can eat well, exercise, look after ourselves, change our lifestyle, we can prevent, and also, what else can we do, Felicity?
We can heal ourselves.
Heal ourselves. There you go. Trust in God. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining us. God